what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 4, volume 8 of the Fantasy Formula, a place where eagles fly and gold medals are hung from our mantles, a place where champions are born and a championship is right around the corner for these two heroes who come to you today, completed all their drafts, raced in races, climbed mountains, put it on soft greens. We are the Fantasy Formula, Hank, and we're here to talk to you today. How you doing, buddy? A little tired, huh?
Hey, Chad. Sorry about that. I'm a little tired. Little tired from the weekend. You know, I'm sure me and you both need to catch up on our sleep for two different reasons, but I'm sure we had great weekends. I certainly did. Mm-hmm. I know you did.
Yes, sir.
And but I'm a little sleepy.
Yes. Well, tell us a little bit about why you're a little sleepy. I know you went to Washington State.
Oregon.
You went to Oregon. Okay, Oregon. And participated in this massive race that you guys have been training for, create teams, do all this good stuff. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about it.
So the way that it's set up is, and they have them all over the country, but this is really the most kind of prestigious one. There's 3,000 teams that apply for this, and they took about just over 1,100 teams. And what it is it's 12 guys, girls, however you want to break it up, and you get in two 15-passenger vans, put all your food, all your sleeping bags, all your stuff in there. First van takes the first 6 legs. Second van's waiting at Exchange 7. They take over for the rest of those. For the next 6, and you kind of, frog hop each other and that. So we've done them before on the East Coast, and we wanted to take our talents to a little bit bigger crowd over there. And, you really get to see some pretty special teams. Nike usually puts a team in. There's a couple really special runners. Right. And they do amazing. I think the winners of it average like a 5:30 pace.
Oh, good gracious.
For 200 miles.
That is ridiculous.
Right. So just to tell you a little bit about the trip, it is in Portland, which is kind of the home of running, if you didn't know that. Nike is in Eugene,
right around the corner.
Around the corner. Yeah. There's some incredible tracks there. Nike actually has houses there that they have runners in, and they have rooms that are pressurized. So they sleep at altitude, but they train at sea level in Portland.
Wow.
So, just makes an incredible place for a runner.
Sure.
So when we got there as runners, we left on Wednesday. We flew out, and we got there, midday on Wednesday. We gained 3 hours. So, we were there like 1 o'clock.
Yeah,
right?
Feeling ready.
Because we
roll.
Flew early. So we get there Wednesday, and there's already kind of like a festive attitude outside of our hotel, or we were staying in a condo, which was beautiful. And we find out that these people are partying because the Timbers are playing. I don't know if you know much about MLS, but the Portland Timbers and the Seattle Sounders, I believe is the name of their team.
That sounds
Those
right.
are probably the ones that have the biggest following in MLS. And I got to tell you, it was impressive. So we bought tickets, and we went to this game. And they're chanting. It's kind of like an abbreviated European soccer. No way could you get to that kind of level. But it was incredible. Fans, they had each cheering section had somebody standing in front of them. We had a girl with a green mohawk. She had on, a sleeveless shirt, and she was sweating. She was working to get us jacked.
Nice.
So we watched that. It was a great atmosphere. Thursday, I thought we were going to chill, but one of our people that was with us is from Portland. He wanted to show us this hike that was 2 miles in, 2 miles out. It was absolutely beautiful.
So you're hiking before the race.
We hiked before the race.
Wow.
But it was beautiful. To tell you the truth, I wouldn't have had it any other way.
Sure.
It's a part of the country I've never been to, and it was amazing. But got back, and I had about, on my Garmin, had 24,000 steps for the day before the race. Wasn't real excited about that.
When you went to the soccer game 2 days prior to the race, are we partaking in any type of beverage?
Maybe one.
Maybe one.
Maybe
So
one or two. That's about it.
You're being smart about this.
Well,
Let's don't overindulge ourselves.
Let's not get crazy,
Yeah, let's not
okay?
do that.
Because sleep is going to be at a premium too.
Paramount.
As
Yep.
we get there. So Friday we start at Mount Hood in Oregon is incredible, and we start kind of at the base of Mount Hood. It's got people are skiing on Mount Hood. You're on shorts and t-shirt at the
Yeah.
base. They're skiing.
That's
in our
crazy.
background.
Right.
And so we start from there about 1:45. We have CJ Hines, one of our fantasy guys.
Champ. He was champ
he's a
last year.
Three-time champ.
Three-time champ.
He starts us off, and that's where we start. So
Yeah.
for the next 24 hours, we were expecting to be 24 hours, be in the top 50 of 1134, however many teams there were, and we did it under 24 hours.
Wow.
And we did it in 23:14 or something like that, and we ended up 29th out of 1134.
Congratulations. That is
Thank
something
you.
to be said. Because we talked about last week, you said if we can finish at 24, that would be quite the accomplishment.
Quite the accomplishment.
Well, you achieved that and even better that. So do you sleep on these buses? Do you really get an opportunity to sleep? Can you sleep
So
on these vans?
I'll tell you my day, okay? No.
Yeah.
The answer is no. So the first time I ran was about 6 p.m. So you have breakfast, you have lunch. So we start at 1:45, and from 1:45 we drive to Exchange 7. My 6 guys.
Okay.
And so we're waiting for the other 6 to run. We're on the phone. Where you at? Who's out? What are we doing?
Right.
So you got to eat. You got to kind of figure it out, right? So we leave at 6. So Michael Banks starts us off. I'm number 2. Then there's 3, 4, 5, 6. We don't get done till maybe 11.
Right.
So at 11, all of us are standing there looking at each other saying, what are we going to eat? Everything's closed.
Right.
Right? So we got Uncrustables, maybe a pretzel.
Cheese it
we
or
got
two.
a banana. You got to really try to figure it out, right? Convenience store food maybe. And if you're exercising, that isn't great.
Right.
But
Big gulp.
big gulp.
Yeah.
So then we've got to drive maybe an hour and a half to our next exchange. We're leapfrogging the other 6 legs. So now we're driving at 11, who Paul Breeding, our friend, came out to drive us. in
Wow.
our van. Yeah.
That's cool. Very cool.
So we get out there, and we may have 2.5 hours until that other team gets there. So what do? I grab my sweatshirt. I get comfortable. I'm laying in a van. Now let me tell you something. There's 2 things you can do here. In the smaller ones, you can get outside your van and you can kind of slide under the van a little to
Yeah.
give you protection. But in this one, if you get caught doing that, you get kicked out.
Oh, wow.
So they make designated sleep areas. Okay, and you can take your sleeping bag, you can go in there, and you can sleep. It's great. Well, I decided not to because I was like, it's a lot of noise. There's a lot of vans, everything. So I decided. So you can imagine, I got about 30 minutes of sleep in the front seat of this car.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we start running after I got 30 minutes worth of sleep. The funny thing about that transition area is that we have porta-johns at every transition, right? And they get heavily used with 12,000 runners, if
Certainly.
you could imagine.
Ugh.
So,
Hey.
so they have to clean them out. So they're cleaning them out at 2 a.m. while we're there. Okay, well, it was just after we left. The guy who's cleaning them out leaves his truck running, the sanitation truck running.
Right.
For some reason, one of these runners was drunk.
What?
Now, why you'd want to do that to yourself? Listen, I love to drink. I love to hang out. But this is an event
That might not be the place.
This is not one that deters you from doing it. So this guy had been drinking, sees this truck on, jumps in the front seat, tears ass through
Come on.
through this field filled with vans, drives through the sleeping area. 3 runners jump out of the way. He runs over one, drags her
Oh my God.
drags her through the field, stops the truck on her leg, runs into the field, into the woods.
Is this a horror movie?
K9 has to get him. The girl ended up being okay. She just had scratches and bruises on her. But this cat gets arrested. I mean, sleeping in a field, the last thing I want is a crap truck chasing me down, man.
Good Lord. Where was this guy from? Statesville?
No, Gastonia. He was from Bend, Oregon.
Okay.
So, there was some excitement there. I mean, if you could imagine, but I got about 30 minutes of sleep overall in about 35 hours. But you end at the beach just, about an hour and a half, obviously east or west of Portland. And there's this rock that juts out, and the ocean was beautiful.
Yeah.
The water was cool. But there's this rock that comes out. And I was talking to one of our teammates who is from Oregon. He's from Portland. He was like, this is a beautiful Portland day at the beach. He was like, see that rock right there? I was like, oh, yeah. He was like, you recognize that thing? No, should I? He was like, you remember on Goonies when that ship comes out from behind that rock?
Behind that, that's the rock.
I was like, you've got to be kidding me. That's the Goonies
cool.
rock.
The Goonies rock. Very
So,
awesome.
hey, that historical piece right there. But, so we ended up going back to the hotel. On the way back to the hotel, that hour and a half ride, there's a lot of open flycatchers in the back of that van. We ended up sleeping pretty hard.
I bet. Give me the smell in that van. Like, if you could sum it up, what does it smell like?
That's a great question, and I'll tell you a little other funny story. So a great thing, the guy that runs social media for Hood to Coast. Now, this is a great idea. When the thing starts, there's 36 legs, right, in the race. He decided he would not drive any of them. He's going to hitchhike. So he would come up to you and he'd say, hey, you mind if I catch a ride?
Sure.
And he wouldn't tell you who he was until he got in the car and he was driving down the road. Well, he caught a ride with us. Unfortunately, I was running, so I was out of the van.
Yeah.
So I've heard this secondhand. But they were talking to him a little bit, and they said, so, what are some of the things that you're looking for? And he was like, just attitude of the van, kind of the persona of, because you get to characterize your vans and put stuff on it. And he was like, I got to tell you, you're probably the smelliest van I've ever been in. So we won that award.
Congrats.
Stinkiest van. But you start talking about 3 running outfits, shoes. You got 6 guys.
Would be enough.
You got 6 guys. And the worst thing is about 3 a.m. when you've shoveled stuff in your stomach and your gut doesn't really feel good about it. There's a gas war going on in the back.
I thought really all you had to say is it kind of smells like Bigfoot's. Bigfoot's D. But anyway, well, hey man, congratulations. That sounds like a wonderful trip. So now, as you finished second place in your division, is that right?
Right. Men, all of us were over 40, so it's considered the Masters, men's Masters. So
how close were you to actually get into that top spot?
We were about, I'd say, 40 minutes, something. So I mean, it would have been a tough. You'd have to take a lot of time off. But man, second place in that division is pretty solid.
Nothing to be ashamed of. Will your team come back and try to improve on their second place finish next year and try to get that gold?
See, what we won with our second place finish is free admission into next year. Okay,
cool. Awesome.
So they give you that free admission, which is expensive. I mean, it's expensive, but logistically and financially, this is a once in a lifetime trip.
I see.
So I don't foresee us coming. We've got a beautiful relay in Western North Carolina that we do every year, and it's beautiful, and it's actually harder. I wouldn't have said that out there, but it's a harder race.
No kidding.
But I think we're going to probably try to stay around here and do it. But it was fun.
Wonderful. Well, transitioning to speaking of Western North Carolina and Bigfoot's D.
That heavy athletics to no athletics.
Yes, that basically sums up my weekend, Hank. So as you guys were sweating and achieving goals, setting good times racing and finding camaraderie amongst each other inside vans and trying to really work to to reach a goal.
Sure.
I was doing the same thing. However, I was doing it with like tequila, cigarettes, all these other bad things for you.
So instead of Gatorade and shot blocks,
exactly.
Tequila and
cigarettes, yes, and other stuff that you do. But
buffalo wings.
It was a wonderful time. This is how our trip started. So we always play golf Thursday. Wherever we are, we play golf Thursday, and we plan to play golf Friday. So we get to the golf course Thursday. We're running a little bit behind. People are coming from Dallas. We had somebody come from Denver. Most everybody from Raleigh or from the coast of North Carolina, and me from Hickory, and we're in western North Carolina, so I don't have to go too far. But we're all running behind, but we all kind of get there, boom, right at the same time. Tee time's in 2 minutes, so we're scrambling, taking off our tie, our coat, and everything, putting on our golf stuff, and here we go. And we get out there, and it's a beautiful golf course. It's called Mountain Air. It's in West Jefferson.
Played it. It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful golf course. Not too many people out there, so we're really getting to just enjoy ourselves. You know, we're out there just awesome. Nobody to push us, nothing. So I'm a gambler, Hank, and typically the last 10 years of this golf trip, fantasy trip, if you will, there's a few guys that always want to try to come get a little piece of this.
Come at you.
They were trying to come get me. And I'm not bragging, but typically I do pretty well in this thing because I'm known for closing. You know, I might start pretty bad front nine, but the back nine, they know Chad East is a coming. Here he comes.
Here we go.
Here he comes. Yes. So kind of same thing that's going on. Front nine, I play terribly. Not terribly, but not as well as I like. Back nine, though, here it comes. We've got par, boom, 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 boom. But the thing is, the other guys I'm playing against, they're playing well as well. So we're the last hole. It's 18. This one's worth about 65 bones.
Yeah.
And we keep pushing.
Ice water in the veins here.
So the 18th hole, if you recall, it's a tee that it's kind of elevated, and there's a driving range to the right, and then the green is maybe 390, 400 yards. It keeps going higher and higher to another elevated spot. Well, I'm up. Clutch Chado comes up. No worries. Sprays it straight damn right into the driving range. Typically, most driving ranges are out of bounds, Hank.
Not here.
This one, no out of bounds here. The other great thing, range balls at this golf course are yellow. My ball is white. So I say, guys, I think I can find it. Do y'all mind if I look? And they're like, oh, sure. Because they know the driving range is so far from the green, I'm out of it anyway. Right. That's what they're thinking in their mind. Chad's out of it. There's no way. So they go down there, Chad, no sweat. Go, good luck. You'll find it. Yep, whatever. So I take the cart, go down. There's one little lady on the driving range. And I was like, ma'am, if you can just give me 2 minutes, let me just look in the driving range and see if I can find this Titleist with 3 little dots and a smiley face that my Olivia had drawn on before we went. She said, sir, go right ahead. I pop in the driving range. You got to go down to the driving range. I find the ball amongst 1,000 yellow balls. I said, guys, I'm coming up. I can't see the green. I can't see. I mean, it's a blind shot. So I told my boy B, where do I hit it at? He said, Chad, there's a house on top of the mountain. Just aim at it. Said, yes, sir. At this moment, the gal is she's like, she wants me to progress, get the hell off the driving range. Man, one more second. I look at the ball, I address it, take a deep breath.
What club are we using here?
Great question. The shot is about 210 yards up a hill. So
we got a wood in our hand.
Yes. I have a trusty 7-wood, right? It's my favorite club.
Heavenwood.
Heavenwood, whatever you want to call it. It is my favorite club in my bag, and I know when I'm holding it, and it's. I always feel like I can make a shot with it. It brings some confidence to me.
What are you, 90 with 7-wood?
Exactly. The funny thing, another guy in our group, he had the same 7-wood. Only 2 7-woods in North Carolina in the same group. So anyway, I go down there, Hank, look at the house, take a deep breath, get in my stance, pull this club back, swing. It takes off on this beautiful flight. Sure. It is kind of aiming a little bit left of the house, but this cool mountain breeze just pops up at the perfect time, and it knocks it a little right. Boom, boom, boom. I have no idea if it's good or not. Yeah. I have no clue. All I can do is look up on the mountain and the hill and see the 2 people I'm competing with.
Heads down.
Their head goes immediately down, and they're shaking their head like this. So I was like, yes, it's got to be good. It's got to be good. So I get up there, drive the cart through the range, tell the lady, thank you very much for letting me play through. And I come up around, and I look at the green. My ball is like 8 feet from the hole.
Oh, my God.
8 feet from the hole, baby. So anyway, I win. I mean, make a putt, ball game over. Chad East comes through in the clutch again. It's just like clockwork, boy. So anyway, that's how Thursday started. So you can imagine we're on cloud 9.
Mountain Air is a great golf course.
Awesome.
And can I give you one little tip? The only time I've played Mountain Air, it's one of my finest drinking performances.
Okay, yes.
I will tell you. So we played 2 rounds of 18. First round, we go out. I have a couple beers. This is early in the morning.
Yeah.
This is when we played our North-South
Yeah.
game against.
Great competition.
After the first 18, I go exercise. I need to change the oil. Okay, little,
Sure,
you
sweat
gotta
it out.
Get sweated out. I'm feeling great by the time we get to this next 18.
Yes.
Right. I look over at my boy Michael Banks. It's on. Right. It's on.
Gives you the look like, let's
It's
go.
on. We get to hole number 2. Midway through the hole, I'm done with my second beer, opening my third. Right. I said, Michael, I think I might go 18 for 18. 18 for 18 on this.
Whoa!
18 for 18. And I have to tell you,
On the second 18,
On the second
mind you.
18,
This is the
mind you.
second 18.
if you need validation of this, I can get it done.
No, I believe you, baby.
The 18th hole was not pretty, but I got it done. And I will tell you, I almost burned down the house that night cooking steaks. Back to your story, Chad.
Oh, wonderful antidote there, Mr. Eimer. That's fantastic. I can't compete with the 18 for 18 story, but that's fantastic. So the rest of Friday, we go to a couple bars, have a couple 3 or 4 to 5 fireballs.
Whoa.
So we're off the golf course about 6, hit 2 little bars, 2 cool spots, fireball, both of them. Then we head back to the house. Hank, I am not lying to you when I say we drove. I was like, where the hell is this house? We're going through these mountain roads. We finally see this thing that says Timber Ridge. Okay, it's a big sign, and it's paved. Nice, like guard station and all kinds of stuff. Like, whoa, where are we?
Uh-oh.
Keep cruising around this hill, and all of a sudden, about 100, 200 yards up on this cliff is this massive just mansion of a house. And my friend Brian was like, that's us. I was like, you got to be kidding me. So in our league, the loser of the league has to rent the house and everything for the weekend at the spot where the champion chooses. So it can be anywhere really in the South. Typically we stay in North Carolina, South Carolina. We've been to maybe Virginia or something. But the champion chose to be in the Boone, Banner Elk, Blowing Rock area. And the guy who lost, Mr. Alan Datto, a really good friend of mine, found this house with the help of Casey Goodwin, the number 1 realtor in Raleigh, found this house on top of this cliff, sleep 16. It's freaking brand. It's just beautiful. I can't describe. When I saw this thing, I was like, holy cow. It's like seeing basically heaven. Maybe when you pass away, that's kind of what it looked like when you're coming up this mountain. So we get there, we drop our stuff off. My boy Chad Link, who we always bunk up, he's got the master. He saved it for us in the very, very back. So far, this is about a perfect damn day. You know what I'm saying? Perfect day. We go on, we get our showers, we're ready to roll. We have the Champions Dinner. I've explained to you before where my buddy Rob and some other fellas, Alan Toomas, everybody cooks. The losers kind of serve us, and so perfect. Bottles of wine start going down like candy, like Tic Tacs. We're just drinking bottles of wine. We started with maybe 30 bottles of wine. Everybody has to bring X amount. Well, I think we're down to 4. Hank, it was just disgusting. So it's 4 o'clock in the morning now. After our poker game, we always have a poker game. Always do whatever.
You always have a poker game.
Have a poker game. Big Rob won that one too. And now music is commencing, and it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and we have to tee off the next day at 9.
Oh.
We pack it up, sleep 3.5 hours, 4 hours, roll to the golf course. Now we're playing Boone Golf Club. It's harder to play a little bit because we're seeing a little more sideways, crooked, but we get through it, and guess what happens? Your boy wins again. Your boy wins again.
I would protest this.
Shot 39 on the back to bring it home again.
Of course. Strong back 9.
Yes.
The second half guy.
I'm a second half guy, so it all came in. It's just a wonderful time. We ate at this place called Vidalia in Boone. Pretty nice restaurant. We had the back room. It was great. A lot of dirty martinis. We all went to bed at 12 that night, though. We needed rest. Draft commences on Saturday, 6 o'clock. We go to a couple bars, check out the scene. Draft starts at 6. It rolls right through to 11:15. Conor McGregor Mayweather fight starts at 11:30. We wrap up the draft, right into the fight.
Sounds like just fantastic few days.
That's why I feel the way I feel, is because of those fantastic few days. But let's talk about the fight for a minute before we jump into the draft. So what did you think about the fight in general? Did you expect it to be that competitive? Did you even think it was competitive, first of all?
I did. I mean, the fact that Conor McGregor won as many rounds as he did, I think really is because Mayweather kind of let him
kind of like
win that.
yes, he was toying with him.
And Mayweather was doing stuff that was he'd never done in a fight. Like when he kept turning his back,
right?
He was baiting him to do something stupid, like to do an MMA move on him, and he was. I mean, with the hammer punches and all that stuff. So it was an odd fight. But to be completely honest, it was a better fight than I thought.
Me too.
Conor McGregor actually proved that he could at least sit in the ring with a professional. He was outclassed by far.
No doubt.
But to land some punches, to be competitive, to win a couple rounds was all pretty impressive. But for me, those two are the epitome of machismo. Those two, and they're not big dudes.
Right.
They're just confident. And
yes.
that confidence is important with whatever you do.
Everything in life.
Everything in life.
Yes.
And those two guys, the hoopla behind them and the entrances and the charisma that that's what I loved about that fight.
Completely agree.
And, did I want one to shine over the other? Probably. But I liked the event a lot. I just wish the fight would have been more than it was, because 4 punches in the first round from Mayweather.
Right.
He was just saying, "Hey, let's see you get tired out. I'll meet you in the 10th."
That was his play.
What happened.
That was his play. By round, I guess it was maybe 6, you could tell McGregor he had shot his load. Dude, he didn't have much left.
Nope.
He didn't have much left, and that's when Mayweather started boxing and started teeing off on that dude,
That's where his experience came into play.
Absolutely. I was really hoping it would go 12 because I took Mayweather plus the 200 in a decision, knowing I didn't think it would really go that far, but I didn't know. I just I was gambling.
And that's the thing is I took McGregor just because the odds were so bad with Mayweather.
Right.
And I was talking to somebody while we were sitting there, and I took Mayweather. The over-under was 8.5, and I took the under because if McGregor was going to win, he was going to win in
early.
the first few rounds.
Yes.
So, if you're going to hedge your bet, there was like plus 330 or something like that.
Plus 400 maybe.
Or 400.
Yeah.
So, those aren't bad odds
Sure.
to put out there. So, I knew, I was pretty sure he wasn't going to win. Yeah.
But you never know. See,
catch a punch.
My buddy Rob Worthington said Conor McGregor's left hand, if it connects, Mayweather's going down. But it just never really connected because Mayweather's so quick and elusive. But it would be worth plus the 400. So my friend Jack Choi, while we were up there, we were talking about my 2 golf achievements, and I wasn't bragging about them, Hank. My buddy Jack was just like, it's pretty awesome that you can come through like in the clutch like that. And I'm just like, Jack, it's luck. A lot of it is luck. Like I got a couple good bounces, the driving range not being out of bounds. That's kind of lucky because normally it's. And he said, let me tell you something about luck. If you believe in luck and you have confidence that luck will be on your side, luck will be on your side. You know what I'm saying? If you don't believe, you believe I'm an unlucky person, I never get lucky. Nothing ever goes my way. Well, unlucky stuff's going to happen to you. So if you can put in your philosophy of life, yes, man, I am pretty lucky and I've got confidence. So you mix the confidence with the luck, good stuff's going to happen to you. So Jack Choi, he's my Denver boy. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Jack.
That drop of knowledge, that philosophy that you dropped on my head on Friday. That was appreciative.
I'm sure there were other things that made your head hurt.
Oh, there's no doubt there were plenty
of things.
So, Hank, let's jump right into the draft.
Real quick
please.
question.
Go for it.
In your draft, sometimes you have gentlemen that decide to dress up.
Perfect.
And I think that's a question that is far too hard to ignore.
I can't believe I've forgotten about this because you make the most perfect point. So for years upon years, if there's always a bet between Mr. Seth Carter from, where is he from? Mebane or somewhere.
It's Mebane.
Versus Rob Worthington. And Mr. Carter always has had Mr. Worthington's number. So for probably the last 10 years, Rob's lost the bet, and he's dressed up like Daniel-san, like a bunny, like a waitress at Alice's. I mean, he's had to wear some really strange costumes.
Right.
Well, Rob beat Seth last year.
Yes.
And guess what happened?
He didn't dress up.
He didn't dress up. So there's a lot of controversy that goes behind this. I know you're giving me a weird look like, what? How could this happen?
Who is this gentleman? Yeah. Does he listen to the show?
The controversy was there was never a handshake regarding this year's bet, which Does there really need to be a handshake? You've done it for the last 10 years. Continue. But anyway, so there was a little controversy.
I would never make a bet with that man.
I don't think that Rob will. But anyway, that's why it went down. So no dressing up this year, which was kind of disappointing. I know how you look forward to seeing who dressed up like what. But let me tell you about the draft, because the draft was not disappointing to me, Hank. So I'm going to start. Let's just go through a couple rounds. Again, this is my Raleigh Draft League with all my college buddies. This is our 17th year in a row. 17th year drafting. We're in Blowing Rock. The format is one running back. Nope. That's not right, Hank. Yes, it is. It's one running back, one wide receiver, two flex, three flex, a quarterback. The big difference between this league and our league, a quarterback gets a quarter point per completion. So you can imagine how much that makes the quarterback weigh,
right.
In this league.
And that's important you bring that up, because it does. I mean, you see somebody pulled early like that, and it does make a difference.
Absolutely. We have 14 people in this league, too, so that's another change to it. Instead of the typical 12, we have 14. And, Hank, talk a little bit. My phone just went dead. Let me find this draft. Go ahead.
Well, it is kind of different when you have 14 people involved, because when you start getting down in these rounds, especially that first round, it changes a little bit, because your first round pick is super important when you get that, 14th, 15th, and you're not seeing anybody else till way, way back. It gets a little bit more important because you're starting to see 4 or 5 guys back. But, as what you've done here is you've actually sent a picture of your draft board to me, and it is a small draft board, and like a Tic Tac. This is like 8.5 by 11 territory, and your stickers are very small. And the only way I know that is your legend is Casey Goodwin, who's standing right beside it, and he looks gigantic. And I know Casey, and he's not gigantic, but this is a small draft board.
Yes.
So next year, who's the
Casey's in charge of getting the draft board. Let's get
Casey,
the bigger draft board.
Let's get a bigger draft board.
Yes.
Let's get one that you can actually see, because it's good that my iPad has super zoom on it, because I could not see anything.
Well done, Hank. Well done.
Did you find it?
Yes, I found it. So here we go. We'll jump right into it. We've got 14 people. The first draft pick, we'll just run right through them. David Johnson goes 1, of course. Le'Veon Bell 2. Antonio Brown comes in at the 3 spot. Julio Jones comes in at 4. Okay, this is when it gets a little bit different. This draft weighs heavily with quarterbacks. We see Tom Brady go 5 and Aaron Rodgers go 6, back-to-back quarterbacks, followed by Odell Beckham, Mike Evans, LaShawn McCoy in the 9th hole. Drew Brees goes in the 10th spot. That's 3 quarterbacks in round 1, Hank. 3 quarterbacks.
Right.
Followed by Melvin Gordon at team 11, team 12. Michael Thomas, who we loved, and obviously the person who drafted here in the 12 hole has listened to the fantasy formula, because Michael Thomas goes in that spot. 13, A.J. Green and Devontae Freeman in the 14th hole. It rounds out round 1. Talk about the 3 quarterbacks that go in the first round. Any questions? Is that early? What do you feel?
Well, I don't play in this league, so I don't, you really got to think, does that quarter point make so much of a difference? And it would.
Oh, yes.
It does.
Yes.
And, you have these 3 if you're going to put 3 quarterbacks in that first round, these are the 3 you're going to want.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to get a lot of production out of them, because you're talking about taking a quarterback that may give you 50 to 55 and making him 70. Good gravy.
Yes.
So certainly understand those picks, and that kind of, obviously in our league it would have been a little bit early, but those are the 3 giants, and I can't hate on that.
Michael Thomas in front of A.J. Green in the 11th and the 12th spot. Anything, did that kind of shock you, or do you anticipate pretty similar numbers between the 2?
I took Michael Thomas too, and so, but A.J. Green was gone, and I don't know what I would have done, but I'm hoping that Thomas. I mean, everybody's projecting. I mean, you've got Drew Brees out there throwing the crud out of the ball. Right. I mean, he's going to get the ball a lot, so I like him there. Green's probably the safer pick. The other one that I thought is I would have taken Freeman before Gordon.
Me too.
Yeah,
I thought the same thing when the draft was going on. Absolutely. The other thing I want to mention, so when we're drafting, this is Saturday night, August the 26th, which was also my anniversary. So happy anniversary, Jennifer.
Love you, Jen.
I was doing a draft when I should have been home with you, but, I'm going to make it up to you this week and this weekend. So love you very much. But Stephen Ware and Julian Edelman the night before go down with those season-ending injuries, Hank.
Yeah.
So everybody, we're waiting. We're just waiting for someone to draft them because we don't know in this league if everybody keeps up with the times. But everybody kept up with the times because they did not get drafted in this league. We can maybe touch on those injuries in a second, but those are big, big injuries.
Yeah, and they affect people that drafted a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, just like it affects you. You had Edelman.
I had Edelman, absolutely. And Steven Sparks had Ware.
Right.
And he drafted him in the third round, so that hurts. That stings. We'll start second round here. Jordy Nelson goes first pick, round 2, followed by Jay Ajayi, DeMarco Murray, and Jordan Howard. So my buddy Chad Link, who does the MCing with me in this draft, we have double MCs. We've got our own kind of network. It's really cool. We've got stickers and we wear suits and stuff. But that might sound a little odd, but we just really go all out for the commentating.
You're a strange little man.
I'm a very, very strange dude. But he goes Jay Ajayi. So who do you go with? If you have the option, Jay Ajayi, DeMarco Murray, or Jordan Howard, or Todd Gurley even on the board. He chose Jay Ajayi. I told him I liked maybe Gurley a little bit more, but tell me what you want.
I like Murray a little bit
like
more.
Murray better.
I think the Titans are going to be better this year, and so I think he's a safe pick. Miami's a dumpster fire with Cutler down there, and I don't know if they're going to be able to get that running game going like they should. Certainly not better. I don't feel like he'd be better than Murray. I know you are on the fence of how terrible Gurley's team's going to be, and then all of a sudden you pick his team.
Yes.
But he's going to be solid.
Yeah, I think so too. So team 10, the second round, select Todd Gurley, followed by Amari Cooper. Then Lamar Miller goes off the board. Christian McCaffrey scoots all the way up, round 2. People are in love with this guy, Hank. Love him.
Love him.
And then Ezekiel Elliott. He goes at pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, second round, okay? Zeke Elliott. Think about that. If Aaron Rodgers and Zeke Elliott are your 2 and Zeke Elliott actually plays, good Lord, that's a heck of a start. But, we're talking to you on a Tuesday. The appeal comes down today from what Jerry Jones said. He was like, this is not coming down any. This 6-day game suspension is not coming down. It's either going to be upheld fully or they're going to suspend it until next year. But Jerry Jones thought it's going to go through now. So just keep our eyes.
It would be horrible for the rest of the league if it's done next year. Yes. I really want him to take it this year.
Yes, absolutely. Please take it this year.
We'll get back to your show in a moment. Just a reminder, you're listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Find out more at themesh.tv and give us feedback on what you like. And now, as promised, back to your show.
We go Dez Bryant in the 5 hole in the second. Well, the fifth player left to be taken in the second round, followed by Brandon Cooks, Doug Baldwin, T.Y. Hilton, and I can't really make that. Is that Rob Gronkowski? That's Rob Gronkowski. Rob Gronkowski goes last pick, round 2. Anything you want to touch on about that? I'll mention something about the T.Y. Hilton. Luck still hasn't thrown. I think T.Y. Hilton's value should plummet without Andrew Luck there. So at T.Y. Hilton in the second round, I didn't like that at all. I think T.Y. Hilton's maybe a late 3rd, early 4th. The rest of everything seemed to make sense to me. Christian McCaffrey, first rookie running back off the draft board in front of Fournette, kind of shocked me a little. But this guy that drafted him is a big Panther fan. He drafted a Panther.
Right.
Yeah. Third round, and then we'll just call it a day after this round. We'll go through a couple full teams. But we had Matt Ryan go at that spot. So now we've got 4 quarterbacks off the draft board by pick 3-1. That's round 3, pick 1. Followed by Travis Kelce, tight end. Leonard Fournette goes in round 3. DeAndre Hopkins, there he goes in the 4th pick, round 3. Keenan Allen. There's Dalvin Cook, another rookie running back off the board. Devontae Adams. Tyreek Hill goes in the 3rd round, followed by Marshawn Lynch. Eddie Lacy, which was, Eddie Lacy in the 3rd, early. Isaiah Crowell and Kareem Hunt That's the guy that's taking the place for Stephen Ware.
Right.
You know, in our league, he went maybe 6th round, 7th round. He moves all the way up to the 3rd round based on the Stephen Ware's injury. Followed Demaryius Thomas, then Kelvin Benjamin goes last pick, round 3. Round 3 seemed to be kind of tough for a lot of these players in this league. Anything that stood out to you as a good pick or a bad pick, Hank?
Well, Lacey and Corral, I don't like the Browns, and I wouldn't want one of them on my team. And obviously, Lacey is kind of a junk pit. You know, everybody else seems, Hopkins is a first rounder last year that falls to the 3rd round in a 14-guy league. That's pretty good value right there.
And look at that team in Team 4. He's got Julio, Brandon Cooks, and DeAndre Hopkins. Golly.
Wide receivers are stacked.
That is loaded. So I don't want to go through this whole draft because there's 14 players. We got 14 rounds. So we'd be here all damn day. But if you'll just scan, let's scan a couple, Hank. I'm going to pinpoint. Let's say you were in the 11th hole in our league, right?
Yep.
Let's look at the 11th place team spot here. Ebola's team name, and actually he's our champ from last year, Mr. Gary Watkins from Kinston, North Carolina, a good buddy of mine who really, and I found out this weekend, really loves Bruno Mars. He must have sang Versace on the floor about 13 times.
It's a great song.
It's a fantastic song. So the champ is here. He selected Melvin Gordon with that first spot, followed by Jordan Howard and Isaiah Crowell. Now, Gary's MO is he likes running backs. And so that's what he's done. 3 running backs in a row. 4th round, he took Jordan Reed. 5th round, C.J. Anderson. What you notice on his team right now, he doesn't have one wide receiver, Hank.
He has nothing else.
He has nothing. He's got running backs and a tight end. He goes Larry Fitzgerald, first wide receiver off the board. Then he drafts Luck as his quarterback. Andy Dalton right behind, who I like Dalton a little bit. But Luck, man, I'm telling you, it's just going to be a tough year for Luck. Then we go John Brown, wide receiver, Arizona, which I do like. Eric Ebron, there's his second tight end, which is odd. Kevin White, Tyler Lockett, Jonathan Williams, and Los Angeles Rams defense.
It's kind of a spotty draft. Picking the second tight end is a error of judgment.
Yes.
Because, I don't know which way you're going here, but you had to get some sort of value somewhere else from that pick. And then picking back-to-back quarterbacks, obviously you didn't have confidence in Luck at that position, and you had to go after Andy Dalton. I'm with you. If you can't feel comfortable with Luck right now,
don't draft him. You need a wide receiver badly. Just pick a wide receiver there. You'll get Dalton the next round.
Eric Decker was there, or Randall Cobb, one of the two on either side.
Tyrell Williams was there. So there's a lot of Corey Coleman, maybe not necessarily, but Pierre Garçon, Jordan Matthews, they were all there. So pass on Luck. You don't know what he's going to be, and just draft Dalton. I just lost my thing again, Hank.
Oh, God.
Okay, here he goes. So let me give you a couple Hickory Boys stuff, all right?
Okay.
So let's talk about a couple Hickory Boys. So my boy Casey Goodwin, the Hickory boy himself, was drafted in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hole. Okay. He started the draft with Tom Brady, then hit Dez Bryant, then your man Keenan Allen, followed by Ty Montgomery, running back Green Bay, Jimmy Graham, Stephon Diggs, James White. Then he got another quarterback, Carson Wentz, which I don't understand. You got Tom Brady. Why do you even need to draft another quarterback? Just you pick up somebody in Tom Brady's bye week, but you don't need to draft one. Jamal Williams, Alvin Kamara, Torrey Smith, Philadelphia's D, Taylor Gabriel, and Brandon McManus. What do you think about this team? This is a playoff-ready team.
Yeah, it's a good team.
I like the team.
He stubbed his toe on the quarterback thing, and the tight end that early. Jimmy Graham hasn't been used the way he needs to be used since he was in New Orleans. So until he has a good year, I hate to take that risk because I took him one year in the 3rd round, and
he's bit me before too.
It bit me hard.
But I like him this year. For some reason, I'm thinking Russell Wilson will have a very good year, and he's going to have a good year throwing the ball because their offensive line stinks, run block. And we just talked about Eddie. Who's going to run the ball? Eddie Lacy ain't going to run the ball. He's got C.J. Prosise, Thomas Rawls. They're always hurt. So I like Russell to have a big year throwing to Jimmy Graham, so I kind of like that. But I feel like this is a playoff team. Your running backs, Ty Montgomery, and I guess that's his only running back, and James White. Well, maybe I've changed my tune on this team. I don't know. No. Ty Montgomery, that's a good run. That's an RB1, so you throw him in there, and he can catch some balls out of the backfield too. And then let's do one more Hickory boy look. So try to guess my team, Hank, because I'm the only other Hickory boy in this league.
I know your tendencies very well, but I would have said you were a different team, but you keyed it with somebody else. I'm going to say that.
Who'd you think I was first?
I thought you were 11.
Okay.
Because the back.
Right.
And but I'm going to say you're team 6, Aaron Rodgers.
Close. I'm actually team 3. So I'm Antonio Brown. Okay.
Okay.
Antonio Brown. So Hickory team here, team 3, drafting in the 3-hole. Antonio Brown goes 1. Doug Baldwin 2. I really wanted Cooks there so bad. I was like, please, Cooks, fall one more spot. Antonio Brown, Brandon Cooks, start. I love it. Then I go Leonard Fournette. Now, I haven't spoken very highly of Leonard Fournette on this show because I think Jacksonville sucks.
That's never stopped you from selecting someone.
I needed a running back. I think he was the best on the board. He's going to be the workhorse there if he can stay healthy and if Jacksonville can, if they're just decent, he should have an okay year. Then I go Joe Mixon round 4.
You love him.
I love Joe Mixon.
You love him.
So that's 2 rookie running backs I've got to count on them. But they're going to get the ball. I go Jamison Crowder because this is a PPR. He will catch a lot of balls. So my wide receivers, Antonio Brown, Doug Baldwin, and Jamison Crowder. I think that's a lot. That's 6 to 10 receptions per wide receiver per game, I believe. Then I go Danny Woodhead. He's a PPR guy at running back out of the backfield. Pierre Garçon, number 1 in San Francisco, and everybody had taken their quarterback, Hank. Some people already had 2 quarterbacks. By the time I go 1, I got left with Dak Prescott. Now, what do you feel about Dak?
Let's hope he can do it again.
I think it's trouble.
Yeah, let's hope he can do it again. And you know what they say about that?
What?
Sophomore slump.
Yeah. So it was either Dak Prescott or Tyrod Taylor, and it had to be Dak. So anyway, we'll see how it pans out.
Cutler, I'm sure, was still out there.
Cutler was still there. Yes, he was. I would never do that. Frank Gore next. Josh Dotson, C.J. Prosise. I've got Alvin Hooper from the Atlanta Falcons, tight end. New York Giants D, and Sebastian Janikowski, because I always draft
GHB Janikowski.
Always drafted. What do you think about this team?
I like your team.
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I like your team.
Worry about the quarterback a little.
Yeah, Frank Gore back that far. I mean, he's an old dude, but I think that's pretty good value for that old guy.
Get some carries.
You for 14 teams, these last picks are usually garbage.
Right.
And if you can get anybody that's starting, that's not a bad deal.
Yep. Well, thank you, Hank, and thanks for wrapping up that draft. It was an awesome draft. So that was my final draft of the year. I've 3 weekends in a row. We've got them knocked out. Woo. Thank God my liver is just waving the white flag saying, Chad, you got to quit doing this to me. So it's over. Now we wait 1 week until NFL season starts, September the 9th, 10th, whatever it is. But before we, next week we'll talk about some of the games specifically and some fantasy guys that we like. So you fantasy formula listeners, we're going to hit each matchup, going to give you who we like in the matchup because we're going to do a little bit of gambling this year. And also we're going to tell you fantasy-wise who do we like to start. But college football starts this Saturday, Hank, when it really kicks into gear. There are 4 really big games, and I want to just hit you with them with the lines.
Elon Toledo?
That wasn't on my list.
Okay,
but, I do notice they play Thursday night at 7. Are you traveling to Toledo to watch your team play?
I probably won't make it. They're on the trace.
Is Elon traditionally a good football program? I don't know much about that.
When I was there, they were Division II, and midway through, so my junior year, we're Division I. And we've climbed through conferences pretty quickly. And you can do that in other sports, but in football, you can't really do that.
Right.
And so now we're in the, Colonial.
Toilet? Okay.
The toilet. And you just can't compete with some of these teams.
Sure.
Thank you, Chad.
You're very welcome.
Speaking of toilets, let's talk about NC State.
We'll talk about them on Saturday. Thursday night game. So the big name is Ohio State on Thursday night. They're the number 2 team in the country, traveling to Indiana. I don't know what it is about Indiana. They always seem to give Ohio State fits. Ohio State's a 20.5-point favorite. The total's 58. Everybody's on Ohio State this year. They are. And I think they got the quarterback, Barrett. They got the coach, Urban Meyer. They're ready to roll. In the first game jitters, I don't know, 20.5, they get it done in Indiana.
I think they do. I think teams like that cannot be stopped. And Urban Meyer comes out hot early.
Yes.
And who cares if it's Indiana? I think they curb stomp them.
I agree. I think Ohio State by 40, let's say. Friday, Hank, there's not too many games unless you're interested in the Charlotte. Are they called the 49ers anymore? What are they
I'm not interested in any games.
It's Eastern Michigan. We ain't worried about any of this. Oh, here's a good one. Friday. This is a 9:00 p.m. kick, if you will. Wisconsin, the Badgers, playing at home against, it's Utah State, who traditionally has a good defense. Wisconsin's a 27-point favorite. The total's 52. Let's go Let's just go under the total. Let's go under the total.
Let's go.
51-0, Wisconsin. Right under the total of 52. Now here we go into the good games on Saturday. The first real good game, Hank, and we'll start right in our neck of the woods here in Charlotte, North Carolina, where the NC State Wolfpack play against the South Carolina Gamecocks in the Kickoff Classic in Charlotte, 3 o'clock. It's going to be wonderful. NC State, a 5-point favorite, 52.5. Can NC State start their run to the championship this Saturday?
No, I don't think they can. They're gross, and playing. When ACC runs into the SEC, it usually is bad news for the ACC. So I don't know what kind of team South Carolina has right now, but I don't. Yeah, pot calling kettle black over there, but I think that South Carolina will roll.
The ACC, it's starting to change. The SEC, the SEC's the power over everybody. It's starting to change. The ACC starting to flex their muscles a little bit with Clemson's national championship last year. Check this out, Hank. The play of the century.
Oh.
NC State minus the 5, mark it down. They win by at least 10 points. They get it done in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Ladies and gentlemen, next week, I'm taking this bet, and I'm taking it in protest, okay? I will take it, and when we're on this stage, I might say some things that are profanity laden.
Oh, no, he wouldn't.
So
no,
just
wouldn't.
Listen, you're putting my money on the line, and it's my pleasure.
I love it. All right, 3:30 game, big game. We've got Michigan versus Florida. So Michigan, led by Jim Harbaugh, they lost a lot of players last year, but they're back. They're ranked 11 in the country. Florida suspended 7 of their players already for the season opener, ranked number 17. Both coaches seem to not like each other. Michigan, a 3.5-point favorite. I think that's on the road. I'm not sure where
they're playing in Texas.
Is that where it is?
Yeah, Arlington.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a
which is interesting. So I don't really know where Arlington is in the state.
Yeah.
But Houston obviously is
going through some tough times.
Going through tough times, and they're moving a lot of games. But I think this one should not be affected.
Huh. And with the suspension of the 7 to 8 players for Florida, Michigan as a 3.5-point favorite, you think Michigan gets it done here?
I think Michigan gets it done. To be completely honest, Florida's a team like Florida. When somebody gets suspended, somebody steps right in and is not that different. So they're going to still put a competitive team out there, but I think Michigan is probably going to have an advantage here.
Yeah, I like Michigan to cover that number and win the ball game. We got 2 more games left here, Hank. For our Appalachian State Mountaineer fans, listen to this. I don't know if you've heard this or not, but the guys in Las Vegas, they have this game as Georgia. They're playing the Georgia Bulldogs, who are ranked 15 in the country, SEC in Georgia. Appalachian State's traveling to Athens. However, if Appalachian could figure out a way to win this game, they're a 14.5-point dog right now. That's a lot of points. That's more than 2 touchdowns. But Appalachian State has proven in the past that they can step up with the big boys from time to time. They beat Michigan opening day. Last year, they gave Tennessee everything they wanted. If Appalachian State can win this game, Las Vegas has them favored for every game for the rest of the year. Can you imagine them sneaking in to that, the other 5 game against one of the big boys on January 1? Pretty phenomenal.
It'd be crazy.
Can they do it? 14.5 points. This is the best team, supposedly, Appalachian State's had since that quarterback's name when they were winning national champions.
Yeah.
That dude.
Guy went to Carolina, the Panthers.
That dude. So what do you think? They got any chance here against that?
No, they ride
SEC
high
powers?
on emotion, and that team does more with less than most of the teams they play. I just think, I think teams that play Appalachian, like Georgia, like Tennessee, are more prepared. They don't take them as a joke anymore.
Take them for granted.
And so I think they play harder. I don't think they can win.
Upset of the year. Upset of the year.
Thought a bobcat just rolled in here.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going against Mr. Hank, and I'm calling for the outright upset of the Georgia Bulldogs by the Appalachian State Mountaineers. Appalachian State, it's going to be sneaky. They might block a field goal. They might return a punt. Their defense will play well, and they will shock the world and upset the Georgia Bulldogs.
Are you just putting your finger down on stuff now?
Yes, I am. Okay, last but not least, this is the game of the century. People have been waiting for this game all year long. No, I'm not talking about...
You don't even have to wait till the last week.
No, I'm not talking about Montana State versus Washington State. I'm talking about Florida State Alabama. This is a neutral site game, Hank. Where are they playing this?
They are playing it in Atlanta.
They're playing in Atlanta, so, I would say Alabama might have some more fans, but that's not too far from Florida State either. 8 o'clock kick, 1 versus 3. Alabama, a 7-point favorite against these Florida State Seminoles. Hank, what can we anticipate to happen in this ball game?
I can anticipate seeing 12 NFL draftees, playing in this game. But you're going to see a good game, and both teams are going to be ready to play. Unfortunately, it's going to dictate the season for one.
But the good thing is they're playing early. So if you get a loss early, you can still come back and make a run.
I kind of like Florida State to come out and play well, and I think they cover.
Yes, Hank.
Are we on the same page?
Actually, I agree with you here. Florida State has a sophomore quarterback. His name is
Stud
Francois or something. It's a DeAndre Francois. I think that's what his name is. He's like a Jameis Winston clone to me. He looks like him. He throws like him. He's a leader like him. I think Florida State goes in there and wins outright against the powerful Alabama Crimson Tide. So take the +7 just to be safe. But if you want to sprinkle a little bit on the money line too, Florida State +7. All right, Hank. Well, that's our college football wrap up for the week. I know LR down here in our neck of the woods has a home game Thursday night. Not sure who they're playing, if it's St. Stephen's or
Boo! Don't make fun. What are you doing? This is our home team.
I know. Okay, LR, go. Who they playing? Do you know?
I don't know who they're playing, but
Carson Newman?
I have tickets.
You have? Oh,
I will.
Yeah.
I support that team. Got
Good.
season tickets.
Really?
Yes.
Have you always had them?
The last few years
Good for you.
we've
That's
had
some
them.
good
So
support.
we go to basketball, we go to baseball. So hey, LR Bears, I got you.
Go Bears.
We're gonna go out there. We're gonna support you. I hope it doesn't rain.
Yeah, if it
because if
rains.
it's raining and it's torrential, I'll watch you from the house.
We out.
We listening to you. And but hey, I'm with you. I hope you have a good showing for your first matchup.
Yes, go Bears. And don't forget Auto Lawn next Saturday in Hickory. It's going to be a beautiful day, beautiful cars, beautiful people. Also, don't forget Foot Candle Film Festival, September 22nd through the 24th here in good old Hickory, North Carolina. See up to about, I think it's 60 different films throughout the weekend. It should be a great, great day. Hank, hit us up, Instagram.themesh or website, www.themesh.tv. Download podcast. Check out the Fantasy Formula. What else we got?
You got a fax number on there?
We've got facsimile line. 828-532-WIN. 532-WINN. Facsimile. Send them all. Hank will answer each and every one of them.
I will.
Yes, Hank. So, college football this weekend. NFL starts the following weekend. We'll be back next week. Thank God I've got no drafts. Thank goodness you don't have any races. We can actually rest a little bit. Enjoy your Labor Day. Oh, let me mention this. I started playing tennis again today, Hank.
How'd you feel?
I thought I hit the ball pretty. Tell me what, let's be honest. I haven't played in a long time since I've hurt my knee, but I thought my ground strokes were pretty good. I was hitting a pretty good forehand. My backhand really sucks, and my volleys are something to be desired, but I felt good out there. I was moving around okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you played well. I think that I'm glad you're out there.
Yeah, it's fun to be
it's
out
a
there.
fun, and we were talking about it earlier. I grew up playing tennis, just popping around, but
Yeah.
baseball was my sport, and tennis is a great sport to grow old
As you get
with,
older, absolutely. Yeah.
And it's the one place where now we can't go on a football field anymore. I sure as hell aren't going on a basketball court.
I can't play hoops anymore.
Right.
No way.
But it gives you a competitive platform to be with your buddies and play. And I thought you played well.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
The
I hope to
juice-
see you out there again.
I'll be there next Tuesday for sure. The juices were flowing. Like, what I'm saying? There's competitive juices were flowing. So thank you for inviting me. I had a great time out there. Hank, I hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
West Alabama is who LR is playing.
LR.
So all you LR Bears, West Alabama, let's get into them 7 p.m.
LR, 12-point favorite. Go Bears. Peace.
Peace.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.